Howdy folks, my name is Lance 90 and welcome back to Let's Play Major Minor, where I am quickly losing my voice. Talk about hospitality, am I right? Maybe you didn't like what he saw. Nobody pays for bad news after all. That is, if he even saw anything. He probably just noticed the long lineup. I had to push us inside to keep a schedule. I had to admit there was something off about Lito. If he didn't like what he saw, that was an ill omen, especially given my role as the savior of Terra. But I shrug it off, I don't believe in that anyway. Whatever happened next, Lito can never predict, especially if Ryu was right about my true potential. So this is what the castle looks like. It's the prettiest thing I've ever seen. There's not a spot of dirt anywhere. Everything is so shiny as well, it's almost like a whole new world. The rest of Terra isn't kept as this clean. She smiles as she examines the royal halls. There are places on Earth exactly like this, so to me it wasn't exactly a treat. Look, everyone is going over there. That must be the way to the ballroom. She points to where a crowd of people are walking, so I guess that's where the real party would be happening. Oh, but I guess you have other plans. You're supposed to go meet Velasquez. I guess I can check the party out myself, or perhaps I can do some sleuthing. The other areas of the castles may be empty, and this may be my best chance to look around. She examines her surroundings more intently. She did mention that she wanted to extract some information. But the party in the ballroom also had promise. I wonder if meeting with Velasquez could wait. Shall I leave Sam behind or ask her to the ballroom? I'm going with Sam to the ballroom, even though it's being Velasquez is probably more important, but thinking of Sam. I suggest that we go check out the ballroom together. After all, this may be the only chance we get. Also, there's bound to be information where the people are. I'm sure that the castle staff members would be present. Oh, you make a good point. They really get to leave the castle. I could use their information for planning. Perhaps I can look for weaknesses as well, something that I could use to get back in. It's easier to do from the inside. Let's have a soft laugh smiling at me. Not your typical date, I suppose, but I'll do what I need to survive. Don't worry, I won't ignore you. Runs off in the direction of the ballroom. I follow after her, underestimating her speed. I look back at the grand staircase and think, after this, Velasquez would tell me everything. It takes a few minutes for me to catch up with her. When I do, I see a massive ballroom in front of me, packed with people all wearing massive smiles. Must be the first time they've been inside. Oh, there you are. You're slower than I thought. Alright, scoped out the whole room. She explains the room to me in vivid detail. She points to different areas as she talks about them. And grab some food over there. I guess drinks around the house as well. Over there, the live orchestra is preparing. I guess the dance floor is in the center. Right now, everyone is off to the sides. I haven't found anything important yet. I suppose I could go mingle with the crowd, but I can't just ditch you yet, can I? What would you like to do together? I suppose we should just talk about whatever we can. You want to act natural when you're spying, right? Perhaps we can talk and make our way around the room. Are you sure you've never done this before? You seem to know a lot about spying. Maybe we could team up after this. Let's do this. Look at you, making me doubt things. Normally I'm the type of girl who to work alone, but there's just something about you. Maybe because I created you? I mean, we barely even know each other, but to me it feels like I know you well. Made her over 10 years ago at this point? Maybe I bet you somewhere before the prison. The orchestra starts playing, startling everybody. Sam's ears perk up as she sees the dance floor fill up. Well, there goes my chance to spy. I won't be able to hear them over the music, just when things were going my way, too. I guess I could examine the perimeter. It's not crowded with people anymore. Perhaps I can find structural weaknesses. That is, unless you'd like to dance, maybe I can hear things a little closer. Perhaps people are more intimate on the dance floor. Wait, she wants to dance with me? Just for a chance to glean information? She's really dedicated to her work, isn't she? Hey, don't get any funny ideas now. This is just to get some intel, you know. If you want, you can go to Velasquez. That's true, I could go meet with the king. But a dance before I could go couldn't hurt either. I just didn't want to keep him waiting too long. There's the right thing to do, and then there's the fun thing to do. Sure, I'd love to dance. Doesn't sound so bad. I agreed to dance. After all, it'd help her get the job done. She smiles at me and grabs my hand promptly. Before I know it, she drags me to the dance floor. Am I just gonna totally, lose the game? Because I'm just pursuing Sam so hard? Anxiety overtakes me as the partygoers stare at us. We were late to the dance, so we stood out. I gulped, simply following Sam's graceful motions. We can stand out more, Lance 90. Just follow my lead and act natural. We're a man and a woman having fun. He leads us soon to a group of multiple dancers. All of our moves are synchronized so we don't clash. The last thing we'd want is to bump into people. She looks at everyone around us, trying to listen in. It's very apparent that she can't hear anything. I thought she'd look angry, but she looks remorseful. I guess you caught me, Lance 090. I won't be getting any intel like this, but I'll savor this dance for a long time. Presses closer to me and talks a little louder. It's better now. I'm able to hear her over the party. I mean, you're gonna have to play a big role. I want us to know what you're really like. History never remembers the little things. The dancing is a lot like fighting. You can learn about people with such ease. Don't even have to say a single word. I doubt that you believe all that. You're definitely a skeptical person, even after all you've been through. She smiles like she knows she's right. Sam's always right. That's honestly why I asked you to dance. History will never remember who you are. It'll only remember what you've done. That is, unless someone makes a record. But we don't really have much time left, so this might be my only chance. As I said, I deal in the truth. I couldn't care less about what you do. I just wanted to remember you for who you are. We continue our fluid movements on the dance floor. Is she saying that I was the reason she wanted to come? What about this once-in-a-lifetime nonsense? This really is a once-in-a-lifetime chance. Hold hands and dance with the Savior? Not many people get to do that. And don't worry, I won't sell this intel. I'll use it to make an important point. You're not the end result of your actions. You have quirks, you make mistakes. You have a whole life up to this moment. I won't be able to give them everything, but perhaps I can give them enough, something that people can look up to. Heroes are only remembered for their feats. It makes you forget that they're normal. You can't strive to achieve the impossible. Makes it sound more like we're gonna die. Either way, you get what I mean. I could ramble on for hours, but I'm glad I got the chance to know you. The orchestra stops playing during our conversation. The partygoers applaud and slowly leave the dance floor. However, Sam and I remain standing in the middle. Sorry for lying about my intent. I know I must sound really stupid. Like I said, you seem special. I don't know why, but it's the truth. Either way, I guess I should be fully open. I've been to this castle many times before. Taken aback by her sudden statement, so she really came only to talk with me? Ask her to elaborate on what she just said. She grabs me and leads me away from the dance floor. I'm sorry, I stood out too much over there. At least now we have some privacy. This has to do with my true employer. That must be who she sells all of her intel to. His name is Dusk, and he lives here. Actually, he's Veloquez's advisor. He handles the treasury and pays for the info. So I've actually been here a lot. I really just wanted to get to know you. Like I said, I wanted to help history. Hope you can forgive me for lying. I know it sounds ridiculously sappy, but I've finally gotten enough. She smiles at me and rests against the wall. I guess she really did do this just to talk to me. I forgive her and thank her for the time we had. Don't worry, hun. It was my pleasure. I guess you should go up meet the king now. I don't want to make him wait too long. I wish you the best of luck, Lance 090. Not everyone gets a personal audience. I can't wait to hear his big speech. With how important he says you are, he might even want you by his side. There's something you could brag about. After everything is said and done, I wouldn't mind meeting with you again. Perhaps a more personal interview? Don't let the popularity get to your head. There were many people who helped you get here. I'd like to think we're all equals. She walks away and starts mingling with everyone else, but through it all, she has a wide smile on her face. I'm not exactly sure what she'd be doing, but I was glad that I could help her out in the end. I leave Sam behind and start to walk back to the atrium. It's even more empty than it was before. Perhaps the sound of music lured people away. I examine the grand staircase resting in front of me. Place my foot on the bottom step and look up. It was happening. I'd finally meet the king. Everything I'd done has led up to this point. I ascend the stairs, my mind hard at work. I imagine a million different scenarios in my head, but soon enough I'd like to know the truth about everything, what my power truly was and what Veloquez wanted. When I reach the top of the stairs, I see a large door. Clearly this was the throne room of Veloquez. Gulp audibly as I stared at its intricate design. Did a good job of making the inhabitants seem grand. I opened the door with a large sense of hesitance, wondering what fate awaited me and all of my friends. Is he gonna be dead in there because we took too long? Hit save. Oh, there's no one here. Usually there's people there. Nope. Hope things are going well. I'm starting to worry, to be honest. Today is a big day for all of us. And it'll be fine. You're worrying over nothing. I'd say they got this one in the bag. Besides, you and Ryder are both here. If anything happens, you'll protect us. We don't have anything to worry about. Sorry, I guess you're right. I guess I've been a little on edge lately. Being in prison and then that big fight. Why didn't anyone come sooner? I sent a mail. I almost said email. I sent mail for Indian Conrad. This all could have been avoided. ... Drink. There's no point in worrying over the past. Just remember the future is what's important, especially with what Lance 90 is doing. I'd really believe in him, you know. He hasn't been gone for that long, but I can already start to feel change. I'll believe it when I see it, PB. I'm sorry, but I need to be excused. Some time alone would be great right now. Oh, what's gotten into him? Oh well, I'm sure he'll be fine. Everything okay, PB? Caitlin looked a little upset. Sure, everything will be fine, but I feel like we did more harm than good, especially with what we did for Riley. Well, he got what he deserved in the end.
Get what you fucking deserve!
You won't be able to push us around anymore. True, but innocent people died, and I'm scared it might not be over yet. Just then, a visitor knocks on the tavern doors. People can't even read anymore. The sign says we're closed for the day. In disregard to PB's declaration, they knock harder. Don't worry, PB, I'll handle it. I don't think they're about to stop. I'm guessing that it's Nami and Nagi. Fidget leaves his brother behind and goes to the door. They keep knocking, it must be important. I hope it's Mom. Now that would be nice. Billy opens it to greet the persistent guest. Yep. Hey there, welcome to the Wayfarer. We're closed, but I'll help anyway. Is there something we could do for you today? This is a testament to Father's failure, built to satisfy an enraged population. I'd say it's no longer needed, Nagi. Correct as usual, sister, and no, we don't need any help, but you're a cute pest, I'll give you that. Yeah, it's a shame you had to get involved. Let's just get this out of the way quickly, Nagi. I don't like killing the little ones. Ooh. Chapter 10, The Future We Create. Slow fade. This experience is surreal. I don't know how to feel. After everything I've been through, I'm finally here. Whirlwind of emotion overtakes me and I panic. There are two thrones in this room, side by side. One is beautiful and white, the other dark black. I wonder which one does Velqua's ruled Terra from. I scan the room and take in my surroundings. There's a part of me that finds this room familiar. Of course, I accept that that is an impossibility. There's no way I've ever been here before. Not sure where Velquez is, and this concerns me. As if to startle, the door behind me stands shut. I quickly turn to see a man clad in royal gear. It's finally happening. This is Velquez. For all this time, you're finally here. I started to think you might not make it. Please offer me your hand, Lance 90. Puts forth his hand and looks at me expectantly. It's not in my nature to leave a king waiting like this. Have we ever left a king waiting in the past? I quickly put my hand forward and introduce myself. He has a firm grip and happily leads the introduction. I know exactly who you are. There's no need for introductions today, and if I'm not mistaken, you know me as well. He releases his grip from my hand and walks away. Moving towards the thrones, I promptly follow suit. However, he doesn't sit, he stands between them. I was told you met Nami and Nagi earlier. That must have been unfortunate. Errant children often cause headaches. He rests his hand on each of the thrones and sighs. Errant children, what do you mean by that? Get the feeling I'm not in for a short discussion. Honestly, I'm not sure where to start. I envisioned this day for a long time, but now that we're here, I'm at a loss. I'm sure you know the truth about Terra, a reservoir for souls of the dead. My own personal heaven or hell. Things are a little bit more complex, however. I'm sure you have lots of questions, but permit me to speak before you inquire. Deserve to know the truth of things, so I'll be nothing less than transparent. Please sit tight and listen to my tale. Maybe I should have started another episode, because I think this is going to be kind of long before we get to another save point. The people know I'm not from Terra, but they don't know my true origin, nor the reason why I lived in eternity. I come from a large federation of worlds, a galactic community living in harmony. Of course, this was millions of years ago. I can no longer be certain of their status. Terra does not exist in the same space, so I've been out of contact for a long time. Earth as well cannot reach out. We're our own reality plane. Billions of these closed-off spaces exist. They are given complete autonomy. You can even say they get stranded, unable to return to the Federation. When I left it behind, it was hurting. We were in need of new sources of energy, so they looked to the brightest minds. They gave those visionaries world stones, the technology to create these planes, the ability to shape their own reality. It was their job to found a utopia and create a new source of energy, something that could help us stay afloat. And if they did make a new energy source, they'd use it to break out of their plane. They present this power to the Federation. But the power required would be vast. Breaking free would be a sign of success, otherwise they'd be stranded forever. So it wasn't really a bad thing. There was a secret nature of this project. If the Federation died, we would live. Catastrophe would not reach us inside. We only break out if we succeeded. There's a failsafe in both directions. Yes, I received several of these stones. I used them to try and save the Federation, but instead I caused so much disaster. First thing I did was create Terra, a place for me to hide if things failed, my very own utopia away from harm. Then I had to create another world, a world where I could conduct this experiment. After all, I was a Federation scientist. But I thought outside of the box. If I created it, I know I'd fail. I was uncertain and afraid. Our deepest feelings enter our creations. I couldn't paint this canvas without doubt. If I did, it would quickly meet its end. Basically, they're trying to make the Rick and Morty universe battery. So I created a sort of bridge, a place between worlds connecting them, some place to experiment and watch from afar. A celestial observatory deck, you could say. Close and close yet too far for collateral damage. That's when I took the next step in my plan. Use the stones to create two beings. They were made in the image of perfection. They wouldn't have the doubt that I had. Their sole purpose was to succeed. Error wasn't in their nature. They'd surely carry out my goal. Yes, I created Nami and Nagi. I created Terra and the Ark as well, using all the power from these world stones. After that, I fixed the stones to a spear, and gave my creations a special gift, the ability to create a perfect world. They made what would become Earth. Standing on the bridge, they used the spear. They fulfilled every duty I created them for. But I've learned perfection is fleeting, or at least sabotaged by our own curiosity. They wanted to know more about themselves. This desire for knowledge hurt the Earth. They started to neglect their duties. I had no choice, I had to open up to them. But they were not accepting of the truth. We were all thralls of the Federation. They said they'd rather not exist. I felt guilt for creating them. They only lived to serve the Federation. But instead of guilt, they felt anger. I couldn't stand up to them. They embodied the power of the stones, and they held a weaponized version too. I begged them not to kill me, but they said they had far worse plans. They'd make the Federation suffer first. They wanted to see who was playing God, who was condemning people to these fates, even if it was for the greater good. I'm sure they'd want to kill them. They'd seek to tear the Federation apart. They were convinced this was a just cause. To that end, they broke free. You see, the stones weren't living beings. They couldn't grow stronger with experience, but Nami and Nagi could and did. I cursed the fact that I created them. My abstract thinking condemned us all. But they didn't just leave me behind. They engaged in a ritual before they left, something to curse me for what I had done. They used the spirit to plague Earth. Disease, famine, death, darkness. They wreaked havoc on what we created. Just broke the spear into 3 fragments. 2 of them are the weapons they carry. The third they hid away from me on Earth. They told me they'd return one day, after they met the Federation's leader, and that's when they would finish me off. They wanted me to suffer for an eternity, watch Earth fall apart from their curse. I'd see my entire cause fall before me. They had the power to destroy the galaxy. They'd rampage in a search of the Federation. I never get that third fragment. My creation would crumble before me. They would destroy the people I served, and then they would come back to kill me. Oh yeah, this is big brain time. At least that's what they thought. I'm not what you'd call foolish. I didn't give them all of the world stones. I kept some to myself, a contingency plan, but this time I did the opposite. I created a being to help me rule Earth, however I didn't model them to be perfect. I wouldn't hold them to such standards, but together we'd rule over the other worlds. They'd call the Ark their home. Ryu was a fine ruler and son. He helped govern Nagi and Nami's curse, using control for the force of death. This helped Earth stay correctly populated. He can even prevent the spread of disease, keep the balance of things in check. Then I noticed something peculiar. A byproduct of my children using the stones, death had an aspect of power to it. When someone died, energy was released. I don't know how to explain this, but it was an unfathomable amount. I guess you could call it a spirit. We had no way to utilize that energy, so the spirit simply withered and vanished. At that point, Ryu had an idea. Their spirits could find form on Terra. When they died, they come to my paradise. I agreed without a moment of hesitation, put it into effect as soon as we could. I used the last of my world stones for this, but I knew that it'd be worth it. The energy started flowing through Terra. When they arrived, we wiped their memory. We made them think they had fled their home. They wanted to start life anew on Terra. Their life energy would no longer be wasted. We even created a questionnaire for them. And they told us their likes, and we catered. Terra had its own laws of reality. We expanded to accommodate this traffic. Could call it a growing paradise. That is what we gave Terra. That's what gave Terra its image. We were always open for immigration. However, they're only coming from Earth. I did have an ulterior motive, though. I wanted to grow this power on Terra. Maybe one day it would be enough to escape. Then I could help the Federation, or if anything was left of it. I had no way of seeing the situation. But it didn't work as I intended. The power was far too diluted. I needed a way to concentrate it. However, I had other things to worry about. This traffic was starting to corrupt Terra. Nami and Nagi's curse was quickly spreading. The more people died, the worse it got. It even corrupted Ryu into what he is now. Warped his powers, gave him more abilities. Terra got the brunt of it, though. Disease, famine, death, it all came here, and no longer was this world expanding. It turned my paradise into living hell. It became overpopulated very quickly. You couldn't walk without hitting someone. This made me realize something shocking. Nami and Nagi would be gathering power. Their rampage would result in lots of deaths. But they held the ability to concentrate it. If I wanted that, I'd need the fragments, so Ryu and I started looking thoroughly. Dot. 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 Alright, you need to go through your house and drink every single bottle of alcohol you have for that dot dot dot. Don't do that. We looked and searched all over Earth in constant fear of what Nagi and Nami's powers. They had far too much of a head start. Eventually, we found the fragment. With everything in place we planned. How do we grow enough power to stop them? Had to set up a trap. They could likely sense energy, so we needed enough to lure them back, but my past had taught me one thing. The stones on my scepter were not enough. I needed to make something living, something that could grow exponentially. The third fragment was a scepter. As unbelievable as this was, I was following along. He had a way of explaining things in a clear fashion. Sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. Basically, we wanted to lure them back. We'd unleash our power and tap into theirs. After all, they were harvesting too. I had to assume they held more power. So we only needed to get their attention. When they came, we'd spring the trap. Everything would be present in one room. All three fragments, them, and our lure. A battle would likely ensue, but everything would be connected. We'd unleash every bit of power. That's when I'd break free from here. But I wouldn't stop at just that. I'd go on to break out of every reality plane. It would cause a massive chain reaction, and in the end we'd all be free. We could live in harmony like before. We'd open trade routes, help each other. All the connections would be open. This has always been my goal, Lance 090. The Federation would live on, billions of worlds would coexist. I'd do what no one else could accomplish. That's what I told the people, too. I was just selective in my wording. They can never know their true nature. Okay, let me make sure I have this straight. He created gods, and they went on to rebel. They cursed the Earth, so Velquez made Ryu, but eventually Terra became cursed as well. Nami and Nagi wanted to destroy the Federation, so they were likely harvesting energy from death. This meant they were destroying the reality planes. Velquez wanted to kill them and save the Federation. But he wouldn't just stop at saving the Federation. He'd give freedom to all reality planes that would pull them into the same physical space. A new universe would be born, completely connected. If that was to happen, he'd need to lure them back. This meant connecting concentrated power in his own vessel. If they came to harvest it, a battle would ensue. All of that power in a single room would be unleashed. This is what Velquez's plan to carry out. This is what Velquez would use to carry out his plan. He'd combine his energy with the energy they had harvested. It'd be like when Nagi tried to unleash my power. However, instead of destruction, it'd be liberation. That's when one incredible fact dawned on me. Yes, I see you figured out. This is the trap. Maybe not. About 10 years ago, I started a movement, presented it as the Exodus Project. I promised to open up all the connections. It was always destined to fail, Lance 090. At least the public would see it that way, but from my point of view, I set things in motion. Gather many of Terra's brightest minds, much like the Federation did in the past. Together, we plan a course of action. We need to create a living being, a vessel with the power of the World Stone. Such a feat seemed almost impossible. One night I was struck by inspiration, a method that would surely accomplish this. Of course, I could never tell the others. Involved the Sir Sacrifice Lance 90. I killed them and stored them in my staff until I had enough power to serve my goal. I'm not proud of my actions. I didn't want to take after Nami and Nagi, but I needed enough power to create a lure. Then Veloquez killed PB and Fidget's mother. That's a horrible thing to do. I'm shocked. Don't jump to conclusions, Lance 90. They're still alive and well, just held within the vessel I created. That's where I was quite dishonest. The Exodus project was not a failure. In fact, it created you. Take a few steps back. My confusion intensifies. I start to panic. That was the last thing I expected. This feeling must be akin to what Nami and Nagi felt. Am I just a pawn of Veloquez of the Federation? Please, my child, do not panic. Are you Toriel now? Not as complicated as you think. Allow me to continue explaining. If you were to help Terra's overpopulation, you'd take a fraction of the Earth's souls. This would ease our trouble and grow more power. But when a Terran died, they faded away. The remaining power ended up wasted, so I made that go to you as well. They couldn't stop immigration completely, so I found a slight loophole, if you will. All the power would still end up inside of you. You house the souls of millions. There's limited power within you. Most beautiful of my creations. I don't know how to feel. This doesn't make sense. What about my memories and my name? Well, it's supposed to be a shocking revelation, but all these souls fight for dominance. You may inherit their memories or ideals. Your true name is not Lance 90 Elliott. One of the lost souls gave you this moniker. Someone strong enough to influence you and control you they did for a while now. Other souls still fought this. You might have noticed some inner conflict. Maybe you say something you didn't need, or maybe your thoughts seemed unlike you. If not, then I'd consider yourself lucky. You have a sort of omnipotence. You can see events happening away from you, much like Larry has a special sight. But you not retain this information. Only the souls that witness it do. It's weird knowing and not knowing. That would be the source of any doubt. Memories conflicting with Lance 90's soul. It would definitely make you seem ignorant. But you are nothing of the sort, my child, and you won't hold these souls forever. This does seem a lot more like Undertale now. You'll have freedom when the battle's over. You have to collect all the souls to break through the barrier separating worlds. You'll be able to retain your physical form, but you'll be able to hold on to the strongest soul. You'll truly become Lance 90. That is, if there is enough power. We must hope that you're strong enough, and that Nami and Nagi have enough as well. I don't think I've ever been more confused. So as an amalgamation of billions of souls, and Lance 90 was the name of the strongest soul within. I didn't like this, but I could gain my independence. It explained how I met with people who have died. They must have been stored in me as well. The vessel. There had to be a way to release them or revive them. Notice he doesn't mention Ryu or his plan. Was he keeping that secret, even from Veloquez? If that's the case, I feel good about my odds. Ryu had been growing this power for an eternity. Ryu told me he didn't know what my power was. It's odd that sending souls to Terra was his idea. It wasn't a hard connection to make if you knew. They were both aware of the energy death created. Could be another lie, or maybe he forgot. He'd been living the same cycle over and over. His only objective was to grow this power within me. I feel unworthy of such devotion, even from Ryu. But yes, that's the story. Now you know the entire truth. You're made to fight Nami and Nagi. You'll defeat them and unleash the power. Then you can reshape reality as you wish. You don't have to take over my ideals. But I know there's no evil within you, so the universe is in capable hands. I trust your judgment, Lance 90 Elliott. Just then, the throne room doors kicked open. I didn't even get a chance to process all of this. I gotta take a drink. My throat, man. I already had a sore throat this morning. I had to record this one way or the other. At that moment, I realized I'd never get to. Nami strolls down the red carpet towards us. What a beautiful story, Father. Obviously warped in your favor. Don't listen to him, Lance 90. Nami, it's not yet time. I'm speaking with my child. We have much to discuss. So the Exodus project made you, huh? I know there was something about you, but I wasn't able to make the connection. Father mentioned the project succeeded, but I didn't know you were its creation. A living vessel just like Nagi and I. Can't be the only one, though. We should have won in that ballroom. Someone tapped into the flow of power. Father, you're a horrible man. You went on to create more slaves. Why didn't you learn your lesson? I did, Nami. I truly did. That's why Lance 90 and Ryu won't fail. I place all my hope in them. So the other one's called Ryu, another name to add to my list. None have been able to escape my wrath. Father, you're a foolish man. I can't believe Lance 90 would trust you. You only create others for your own gain. Nami looks at me, displaying signs of sadness. She lowers her sword as if to show a lack of hostility. Father is a pawn creating more pawns. He doesn't love his creations. If they rebel, he wants to kill them. I'm sure he's planning our demise, and it's like he wants to use you. That's all he ever does, use people. All of Earth and all of Terra is full of pawns to achieve his goal. Renewed sustenance for the Federation. Nobody here exists beyond that purpose, and that is the harsh truth of things. The Federation thinks they can play God. Or at least they did think that. What? Ooh. Nami flourishes her sword before attacking Veloquez. She screws the blade through his gut, smirking. Ugh. Looking straight into his eyes, she laughs. Federation is no more, Father. Destroying it was almost too easy. Our sights have been set much higher now. But we waited so long for this, a chance to destroy your dreams and punish you for everything you've done. Blood drops to the floor and I look in shock. I want to do something, but I can't come between them. I'm paralyzed in fear as I watch Nami kill Veloquez. Nami, please. We had such a hopeful existence, we had such potential to do anything, but in the end we were slaves. I believe in a life of limitless purpose, not a life planned out by a creator. You can't tie me down with strings, Father. We lost all hope when you told us the truth, and now I will do the same to you. Your Federation is gone, completely erased. You've waited millions of years, and it was all for nothing. No hope exists, you can't stop us. Veloquez trembles, losing a severe amount of blood. There's a distance between them, as the blade is so long. No, Nami, you're wrong. Hope will always exist within us, even when it seems like there is none. It's up to us to chase after it. Instead of that, you gave up. Only those who persevere will survive. Grabs the blade and pushes it deeper inside of him. It causes him more pain, but closes the distance. He takes steps as he does this, moving towards Nami. Father? You lashed out instead of looking for hope. I am not to blame for your tantrum, but there's one thing I know for sure. He impales himself further, taking more steps forward. A trail of blood spills behind him as he gets weaker. You think you destroyed the Federation, but it's based on the idea of unity. And Nami, an idea can never die. Finally close enough to take action, he grips his scepter and drives it through her chest. He grunts in pain, twisting the blade within him. Veloquez coughs up blood and turns to look at me. I knew this was over, he wasn't coming back. And so 90, the rest is up to you. Shape reality as you see fit. Do what I always knew you could. Don't we still have to kill Nagi, though? Now he turns the gear on her blade, crying in pain. The room fills with a flash of bright light. What about Nagi, though? I can see the look on their faces of sorrow, like father and daughter regretting lost time. When it subsides, they're both gone. The only thing remaining is Nami's sword on the ground. I walk towards it slowly with a sense of anxiety. All their energy merge into this blade. I kneel down and pick it up with intense hesitation. If this was the case, its power was incredible. The power of Nami, the scepter, and myself. If anything could stop Nagi, it was this. Oh, there you go. Before I pick it up, I hear clapping behind me. I turn to see Nagi standing on the throne room doors. Must have been watching and enjoying the show. The slow claps echo loudly through the chambers. Walks towards me and takes out his blade. I do the same in turn and we meet in the middle. Stand in front of each other, weapons outstretched. I feel beads of sweat make their way down my body. Do you really think you can win, Lance 90? Remember what happened last time? You got lucky, but it won't happen twice. Stand my ground and rip the sword tighter. Last time I didn't stand a chance, but with this sword I might be able to win, especially if it's connected to the power within me. Except we're not a swordsman, so they've mentioned that before, that we have no experience with swordplay. You harvested for eternity, you know. You're only created a decade ago. What makes you think you're stronger? Nami was much weaker than I am, and the scepter's power is almost gone. I don't see how you could defeat me. You might as well give up, or on the very least join me. Not everyone can wield that blade. Insane if he thinks I would want to join him. He and Nami must have destroyed so many reality planes. The lives of countless millions are in this blade. I wanted to free them, not harvest more, but at the same time, he could easily defeat me. I'm not sure I had enough power to stand up to him. There's part inside of me that wants to join him. The souls inside of me must be fighting one another. Conflicted, I presume? That's no surprise, given what you are. We're not so different, you know. Tools created by Father? No, tools created by the Federation. Only left with doubt when told the truth. If you didn't help him, he'd kill you. You did it to Nami without any hesitation. We're only fighting for our freedom. Lowers his blade like Nami did earlier. Then he stares into my eyes and smiles. Don't you want freedom too? Your destiny has never been your own. Everything has been decided for you. Not as evil as Father made me out to be. Just went against his horrific ideals. He believes that slavery is acceptable. It's not just my freedom that I desire freedom for every living being. For that, the shackles must be destroyed. In this case, it was the Federation, and the scientists chosen as pawns. Believe me, they've been destroyed. I realize there's even more. Our journey has been long, but I know it's nowhere near complete. There's nothing to connect anymore. We harvested everything, Lance 90. Your reason to exist is now invalid. But trust me, I know that pain. Nami and I endured it for an eternity, all in the name of our noble goal. I can tell you what you're thinking right now. So many souls are contained within you, all fighting for dominance. Their viewpoints may always conflict, but one desire will always be universal. They all want freedom to live again. I want that for you too as well, Lance 90, but that won't stop at just you. I'll make sure everyone is truly free. Can't tell if he's genuine or just playing me. As soon as he mentions inner conflict, my mind flares up. Leon's voices sound in my head and it's all insane. He uses this chance to start walking towards me. I can no longer grasp what thoughts are my own. Do I agree with Nami or do I oppose him? My grip on my blade tightens and then it loosens. Confusion allows him to keep approaching me. Help. I mean you no harm. We don't have to fight. Not yet. I'll give you the chance to decide. Father told you a twisted tale. It must have made me seem so evil, but I have a tale of my own, you know. I'd love to tell it to you. He trusted me and places a hand on my shoulder. It feels like when Ryu did the same thing to me. It's familiar, yet a little worrisome. I don't think Nagi will be taking me to the Ark. You'll get the chance to see my home. Let me guess, you're home? Alright, we have to end the episode here. Because it's just not going to give me a save point at this point, I think. So thank you all for watching. If you enjoyed the video, remember to hit the like button. Keep the conversation going in the comments and subscribe if you want to see more. Until next time, I hope you have a good day.